So today on Simply Happy Conversations, I have with me Vicki. She's the founder and developer of My Medical Organiser. It is a book that helps people with appointments around their medical appointments, as well as just having everything organised in one place. So welcome, Vicki.
Thanks, Narelle. Great to meet you.
Oh, it's lovely to have you and see you actually in person. So maybe start with telling us a little bit about yourself and maybe something that people don't know about you.
Yeah, sure. So I guess what I'm going to share is that I usually don't share a lot about myself on social media. And you won't often see my face too often on there either. So doing a podcast and chatting is not my usual thing to do. So.
And a video too. I know it's putting you on the spot, but it's nice for people. It's amazing how the same sort of people seem to watch the YouTube videos. So this is also going onto a YouTube channel. So if you prefer to watch it, you can go and watch it rather than just listening to it. So it gives people, you know, that different way of viewing it, which is great.
Sure. Yeah.
So thank you. I really appreciate you being open to sharing your voice as well as your face today.
Thank you.
So what's something you like to do in your actual free time?
I guess just sort of relaxing when I can with family, going to the beach and relaxing, going for walks. We've got a rescue greyhound, so we like to spend time with her as well. So yeah, I guess just whatever happens and what we're up to for that weekend and what everyone wants to do.
So do you live close enough to the beach that you can walk straight there, or you have to drive?
No, unfortunately not. No, but yeah, it's always a nice day when we get there.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, it's the same for us. We have to drive to the beach, but it's not that far, and our dog absolutely loves going for walks on the beach. So tell us about then My Medical Organiser and how it came about.
Yeah, sure. So like many of your listeners, I'm a busy mum of two and both have additional needs. And a few years ago, I worked with a professional organiser who came in and helped us set up some more efficient systems in our home. And straight away, it made a big difference to everyone in the household. And I could see, you know, just that sense of calm and organisation made a difference. It also helped my oldest daughter with her independence. And I wanted that same feeling for the other part of my life, which is going to lots of appointments and therapy. And I'd just never been able to get on top of that area. And I'm a bit of a list maker, so I had notebooks and paperwork sort of all over the place and nothing seemed to work. And then I started to create a bit of a prototype thinking there's got to be a more streamlined system. And then around this time also, my youngest had a stay in hospital and her dad went to stay with her in there. And he doesn't usually attend her appointments, but I gave him this prototype to take along and he could see straight away that this was going to help him. He had the information he needed there and he could step in and take over. And he's not normally going to these appointments and having all that, you know, in his head to be able to rattle off. And I knew that other people in a similar situation would benefit as well. So after that, I got creating what's now My Medical Organiser.
Oh my gosh. So how long ago was that?
Well, the business actually launched last year, so a little bit before that, and getting it produced and getting it all set up. So, yeah, it's just bit by bit, but then it all sort of came together at the end because I was already starting on that journey, but just hadn't, finalised things. And, she got to put it into practice for me at the right time.
Yeah, it's great that you've been able to use it, trial it, and then even giving it to someone else, which is your partner, to use it and really trial it, especially if you're both very different people. I know having a shared calendar helped increase that visibility within our house with having so many appointments, because I was the person keeping all of the appointments for both my kids as well, with the additional needs and all the other additional appointments. So it's great when you can share that and have that visibility across, you know, both parents as well. Right. So tell us about then, what do you love about the business?
Well, I love that it's a simple product, but it actually makes a difference. And, you know, it helps people, and it's helped me a lot when, you know, you're having those really difficult times in your life where you're just feeling really overwhelmed. And I think anyone who knows, you know, who goes to a lot of appointments know that you end up with paperwork stuck on your fridge or on your bench top, you know, all over the place. And you're searching for referrals on the morning of your appointment, and there's often such a big gap in the time that you make the appointment to when you go. And yeah, I think it's really made a big difference. It brings you a bit of sense of calm and also confidence when you go to your appointment, because you're very well prepared. What I like about it is that it, you prepare your questions way ahead of time. So, if you can write down the questions at the time you make the appointment, and then it's fresh in your mind, and then you can keep adding any of your concerns leading up to the appointment. And that just makes a really big difference to your day, and just having that, information there that you need about your past history and all the things you've got to usually fill in forms when you arrive as well.
Yeah, it can be really overwhelming, can't it? Especially around the first one. But even if it's a review type appointment, and I know you get to that day and you're, oh gosh, I wish I had written it down and not having a central place. So I may have written it in my diary. I might have made a Google note about it, but having one place would definitely make that a lot easier, because it is great to be prepared when you get to those appointments and have those questions. Yeah,
That's
I really like that point. And, if it is NDIS related and it's your review, or I have been working with a lot of families, of a lot of older clients as well, who have, I can't even remember, like the senior citizen sort of version of that they've got appointments coming up for as well, and regular, and need to share what their goals are, what they want to achieve.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So there's lots of ways you can use it as well, but just being organised, you've got enough to deal with. And especially on the mornings of your appointment, especially if you're supporting somebody else as well, you don't need that extra stress.
So tell us, what does it look like on the inside?
Well, I'm holding one. I know not everyone can see that, but this is one of them. This is so it's very streamlined. It's something lovely and tactile to bring with you. It's got very sort of thought out sections in it to help you get organised. It's got custom designed artworks in there as well. And the sections, you can start off, there's a lady that I was chatting with, and she started off just using one part of the organiser, which was keeping that paperwork in there, the referrals, her tests, and all those bits and pieces. And then she just saw straight away that helped her. So then she started to fill in the rest of the organiser, and with the medications written in there and the questions. And it gets it all together and just clears your mind, and then you can just pick it up when you need it, and it's out of your head and you know what to do.
And so does it have a actual calendar in there as well for this year?
Well, it's not year dated, so that's the beauty of it as well. That you fill it in as you need it. There's lots of pages as well to set up your appointments, and there is a fold out with the appointment dates, but it's not dated, so you can just sort of, if you've got a set appointment that you might do each month, you can pop it in there. But generally, it's just pick up and use it when you need it. You've got it all there.
So can you add, so just say you used it for the year and you used all that appointments, could you add some more pages in there for that section?
Yeah, that's right. So we sell refills as well, and you can sort of add into it. And then the beauty of it as well is that you don't have to keep it all piled up in there. As things change, you can take them out. You might want to file things elsewhere. You keep obviously your main section in there, your sort of medical history and your appointments, but the actual questions for your therapist or specialist, you might choose to sort of take that out as you go. And obviously the paperwork, related paperwork, doesn't really build up, because you should be sort of using that, your prescriptions and your referrals, as you go. So that just comes and goes as you use it. So
And so who do you find is sort of the main user? Who's sort of like your niche market, really?
Well, it's quite varied actually. So obviously people that are receiving the NDIS funding have been finding it useful. So if they're planned or self-managed, they've been able to purchase that, because it does help with independence and communication, planning, and you can involve the person as well with some of the questions that they want to ask if they're able to help plan that before they go. And it's for obviously parents, carers, people, just anyone who's finding that they're just at a time that they're in their life where they're just having to have a lot of appointments. And also a new diagnosis. We've had, a few people have purchased as well and have, shipped it directly to the person as a beautiful for somebody, because it's a really nice acknowledgement that it is a part of their life that they might have at the moment. And it's not just about the diagnosis. This is another stressful part that goes along with it.
I love that. That's a really beautiful idea.
Yeah,
that's a
it
great
is hard.
idea.
Yeah. And
but just acknowledging it.
Yeah, that's right.
A beautiful gift like that, that's actually going to be useful as well. It's not flowers that are going to die. It's going to be something that's going to help them as well, and help their admin. So do you have any stories of people who have shared once they've purchased it and how it's changed their lives?
Yeah, I think people some people have touched base again, and have just felt really happy, I guess, that they've been able to get on top of it, because we just tend to I know myself, go to the appointment and then you might not be ready to deal with what the next steps are as well, and you put it aside, and then you think you're going to remember everything, but when you go back to it, as soon as you leave that appointment, often a lot of it goes out of your head. So I think a lot of people are just finding that it's there when they're ready to deal with it. It's all, because you fill in also what the next steps are and what the outcome of the appointment was. And also when you need to go back, because sometimes, you've forgotten that. When do you need to make your next appointment? And unless you do it then, sometimes some things are, come back in a year or forget all that. So yeah, I think everyone, that I've chatted to have just felt that sense of calm and a bit more confidence in managing their appointments.
I really like that, because I do find with clients that I work with, we might do the paper declutter. And when we go through, it's like, oh, that's notes from psych, that's notes from an OT, that's notes from speech. These are questions I have, but it's just all in a big pile. So having that to file it under would be really useful for definitely some of the clients that I've worked with. I could really see that, because they actually are people who really enjoy paper. I mean, this could all be put on online, but there's a lot of people who don't like the online, find it really difficult to manage. And you could put it on, but they'd be like, I don't even know where it is. Where is it now? So having it just in that one spot in paper version is really useful for the people who really like that tactile as well.
Yeah, and you need it with you on the spot. I mean, a lot of times in hospitals, phone's blocked, you've had to go suddenly to an appointment, and your phone's not even charged up. So and either way, you're going to end up with paperwork as far as your scripts and your follow-up steps of appointments and tests and all of that sort of thing, and receipts. And so just having it there, and just the questions, like I said, otherwise you end up with notebooks everywhere that don't make a lot of sense later.
Yes, I definitely see a lot of that. So what about some top tips around organising everything to do with medical, or around your appointments and medications? Have you got some top tips around doing those?
Yeah, sure. So I think the first one is really just being organised and getting on top of it. So having a look at your appointment day and what can you do to be prepared, having those questions ready, having your medication and past history filled in. Because even if you take your, regular medication, it's so hard to just sometimes rattle off that at the top of your head, and you lose your confidence even sitting there. You feel silly that you can't remember the name of the medication you take. And so just having it all jotted down, you don't have to remember it all. Why? You've got it there, pull it out as you need it, makes the forms easier to fill in. And the other thing is, I guess with any system, it's as good as you maintain it. It's keep it up to date, have it with you and use it, and if you've struggled with this part of your life, it's really worth putting in that time to get it right for you and what works for you. And that's keeping on top, like you said, even your medications and all the parts that come with it, just setting aside time and really focusing on that.
So do you have like a set day a week that you do it, or is it as it comes in? What's for yourself, what works well?
Yeah, I think as it comes in, like knowing, I guess at the time of making the appointment, that's when I write down the questions. And then I said, leading up to it and just making sure you've got it there. And that straight away at that appointment, before you even leave that office, write down what those next steps are, and being really clear on, what they are. And then popping that paperwork straight away, your receipts for, you might have to put in a claim for Medicare or whatever you've got there, get them straight away in that diary, because I just find later on you get back to other parts of your life and they end up all over the place. So just doing it at the right time when you're there, you just stay on top of it. And then every now and again, you might pull that out and just have a reminder, okay, that's the next thing I've got to do. And it's so clear there to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think that's it's like almost scheduling, it's an hour appointment, but scheduling yourself for an hour and 10 minutes. So you've got that 10 minutes before whatever else you've got to do. So you can write down all of those notes and do it straight away. And I know myself, you go into the appointment and it can be quite overwhelming by the time, especially if it's a child. You've got the child in the car, you've got them to the appointment, and you just and then they ask you the question and you're like, oh, so I can't even think now. It took me enough, willpower and brain power to get in here, let alone now to have this conversation with you. So I can see a real importance of having that. When we're stressed, our brain just stops and can't think. And so, it goes blank. So having that as a resource. And so what about medications then? And so I know for myself, I really love how now I can get that script sent to me on my phone for people who don't obviously scripts. But have you got any tips around organizing medications?
Yeah. So I guess with your pantry, you've got to keep a track of expiry dates. So I do make a time, just like other areas of my home, of going in, checking what's out of date there, and making a note of, what you need to refill and get, and just, like any organizing, and get it all sorted and having it clear, because especially if you've got kids with additional needs and you've got other people coming into your home, other support workers and different people, you want them to know straight away where things are if they need something. You don't want them having to pull out a whole lot of things. You want it clear. You want everyone to know where those things are as well. So just having clear, having just what you need, and then just keeping it topped up and already there for when anyone needs it. So yeah, that's what I would suggest with that.
It's so funny. I worked with a doctor decluttering and organising her house, and she was amazing. Her house needed some help with some of the other areas, but her medical supplies were just so organised. I was like, so what's this? This is for cuts and grazes, whereas it was just so organised. I was like, wow, I'm taking points from your organisation of your medical things, and keeping it sort of in one area, but she had them separated out, which was fantastic. The medications, but here's for cuts and bruises and things that happen straight away.
That's right. So we did have a medicine cabinet, just sort of a small one there with those sort of things that need to stay in there. But then we've got sort of a larger system there that we can label it and have, like you said, with the specific areas that you might need. Great as well.
So what about from the professional organizer that you did come in, what was the main area that they helped you with, and what have you continued since then?
I think really just thinking about the systems. I think often we just do the same things and we set things up a certain way and don't always put a lot of thought into why they are in those spots. And it's not always the most efficient thing. So I think having someone come in and having a completely fresh look at everything. And it wasn't like we had a lot of clutter. It was just that it didn't quite work and everything seemed to take longer. And it was just because I think they weren't in the spot exactly where you need it. And it's just sometimes just moving things from different drawers and having them easy, is that something I use the most? Well, that needs to be really close. And it sounds so simple, but it's often hard to see it yourself.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it definitely needs, someone outside to maybe come in and have a look and just ask the question, so why do you keep this here? Have you ever thought about maybe moving it here instead? And I know I get that. No, but that's such a great idea.
Yeah, that's right.
Except my own family, they're a bit more resistant. I did move all at summertime the plates and bowls, so it's closer to the dishwasher. And I've been mentioning it for maybe 2 years, but never done it. And I finally just did it, and could see why they were so resistant, because they kept going to the wrong drawer then.
Yeah,
But then
it takes
they're
a lot.
finally, it's the end of the term, they're finally now just going to the right drawer for it. And now they're able to say, actually, Mum, this is easier when I'm unpacking the dishwasher. I was doing it for them because they unpacked the
Yeah.
dishwasher. But yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. That's great.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there's lots of people going, do I really need a professional organizer? I don't have a lot of clutter, but it is
Yeah,
that functional side that can really
that's
help, isn't
right.
it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that way, like, it's easier for everyone in the household. Everyone knows where it is, and
Mm.
yeah, it's not all on you as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So how can people connect with you and find you, and even
Yeah.
see that? Is there a couple of videos that they can watch to have a look, like me? I would want to see page by page what it looks like.
Yeah, well, I guess on our socials there's
Yeah.
some more videos. But we've got our website, so mymedicalorganiser.com.au, and we're also on Instagram and Facebook. And there's a bit more information there as well on the website about purchasing, especially if they want to use their NDIS. And yeah, very happy to receive messages through either of those, and also email hello@mymedicalorganiser.com.au.
Beautiful. And you've probably a great partner for you is OTs and psychologists and other health professionals who have clients who have regular appointments. Is another person who could be referring some potential clients over to you as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Vicki, for your time and for sharing your information as well, and for people now to know about the My Medical Organiser as well.
Thank you. It's been great. Thank you, Narelle.